Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tells the Lost Stories, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tiger. Today we're diving back into the Colour Matrix. What is the Colour Matrix, you ask? Well, it's a storyline where Ace uses the Colour Matrix to see through his own eyes in the multiverse and live 8 hours of his real time in the multiverse, exploring the vast majority of different versions of himself. To make it a little bit more easy to understand, think of James Cameron's Avatar, the Matrix movies, and Sword Art Online anime if you've ever seen them. Well, today we've got another series of anime to dive into. We've already done Naruto, so I thought I would dive into another fan favourite of mine. Today we're diving into the world of Pokemon, and Ace has a slight annoyance with something that just keeps getting in the way. So let's dive in. The Colour Matrix, World 9, Minor Pokemon-Sized Inconvenience. I woke up and did my usual routine. I then sat there at the Matrix console and scrolled through the multiverses. I felt adventurous. I scrolled through the orange universes and found a universe where the world was filled with some sort of creatures called the Pokemon. There was a lot of universes for me to explore here, so I closed my eyes and I picked one at random.
Sir, you have picked a universe where you are a Pokemon hunter, hunting down one of the stronger Pokemon for your collection.
Daisy told me. Okay, D, let's do this, I muttered. I took off my shirt, laid down on the bed, and the needles penetrated the back of my neck and my fingertips, and then I drifted off into the darkness. I woke up and climbed out of bed. I then got dressed and grabbed my jacket, placed on my goggles on my forehead, and then threw on my bag. I walked out of my room and locked the door. I walked down the stairs and into the lobby, and there I walked past the receptionist who was talking to 2 team members of Team Rocket. I kept my head down and walked past, silently hoping they wouldn't spot me. I then walked out of the building and strolled down the street. I had found out the day before that the mountain that overtowered this village I was in had the crystal that would lead me to Dialga, the legendary Pokemon of time. I ventured out into town and into the forest. I walked amongst the pathway when suddenly someone jumped out in front of me. It was a teen boy and a teen girl, stopping me in my tracks. "Hey there, friend. You want a Pokemon battle?" the boy asked, holding out a Pokeball. I rolled my eyes and exhaled long and hard. "I don't have time for this," I grunted. "Oh, please, come on, it'll be fun. I haven't Pokemon battled in days," the boy replied. I shook my head, I pulled out a Pokeball from inside my coat, I pressed the button, it doubled in size. I then aimed my Pokeball at the boy gasped and stood there with a grin. "Yeah, thanks, mister. I'm Zachary, by the way," the boy told me. "You can call me Ace," I told Zachary. I then threw my Pokeball up into the air. "Frostlass, come forth," I barked. Then the Pokeball opened in a flash of white. My Frostlass stood there before me, ready to battle. Zachary threw out a Pokeball, and in a flash of white, a Charmander stood before my Frostlass. "Charmander, use Headbutt," Zachary ordered. His Charmander came running at us, head first. "Counter it with your own Headbutt," I barked. My Frostlass leant forward and charged, and both Pokemon headbutted each other head on. The impact threw Charmander off its feet and it hit the ground hard but managed to stand up once again. "Charmander, use Ember," Zachary told his partner. Charmander spat a small fireball. Frostlass just shifted to one side, dodging the attack. "Frostlass, Shadow Ball," I commanded. My Frostlass formed a Shadow Ball and it flew at Charmander, hitting it dead on. The Charmander was thrown off his feet, flew backwards and crashed on the ground. "Charmander, are you okay?" Zachary asked. His Charmander stood up slowly and grunted. It was obviously damaged but willing to continue. "Alright, Charmander, use another headbutt," Zachary ordered. Charmander ran at my Frostlass head first. "Frostlass, Ice Beam," I ordered, and my Frostlass shot out an icy beam which hit Charmander once again. He was thrown off his feet, and Zachary ran over to his Charmander, dropped down to his knees, and saw that his Pokemon was clean knocked out. "You did good, Charmander. Return for now, buddy." Zachary pulled out his Pokeball and returned his Charmander. I pulled out my own Pokeball and returned Frostlass. I then walked over to Zachary, who had climbed to his feet. "You did well," I told him. "Thanks, you were great too," Zachary grinned. "You both did great," the girl said. "This is Hallie, my best friend," Zachary explained. I sighed once again as I knew I had to hurry up. "Nice to meet you. Now, if I must go, please excuse me," I told the duo, then I started to walk off, when suddenly a bunch of people jumped out of the trees and landed before me, all of them sporting the Team Rocket logo. Ah, damn it, I grunted. Yes, we now have you again, Ace. We knew you were in that hotel, you sneaky bastard. Give us the map to the Dialga Stone, one of them called out. The what? Haley retorted. A relic that can lead to the Pokemon of time, I told her. Well, Team Rocket is bad news, that's for sure, Zachary called out, holding out another Pokeball. What are you doing? I asked. Dude, there's like 8 of them. You can't fight them all by yourself. We can help, Zachary said with a smile. I rolled my eyes once again. I hated the fact that Team Rocket was getting in the way in the first place. Why don't you just come home, Ace? We will welcome you back with open arms, we promise, one of the Team Rocket grunts called out. You used to be a part of Team Rocket? Hallie asked. I nodded slowly, then pulled out another Pokeball and threw it up into the air. Ivysaur! I'm in need of you! I called out, and my Ivysaur appeared before me. Zachary threw out his Pokeball, and in a flash of white, Sudowoodo appeared before him, and Haley threw out her Pokeball, and Espeon appeared before her. You help out, yes, you know my past, I noted. Dude, please, these guys are nut jobs. If you left, that's perfectly fine, Zachary chuckled. The surrounding grunts all threw out their Pokeballs, and we were suddenly surrounded by an Arbok, a Coffin, a Pikachu, an Ekans, a Weezing, and a Growlithe. Ivysaur, raise a leaf, I commanded. Espeon, Psychic, Haley ordered. Let's use Rock Throw, Sudowoodo, Zachary barked. The Team Rocket Pokemon unleashed their own attacks, but was bombarded with rocks and sharp leaves thrown at them. Weezing and Coffin were being slammed together by the Psychic attack, and we beat the Team Rocket Pokemon rather quickly. Then one of the grunts walked forward. After they returned their beaten Pokemon, the grunt looked annoyed as he pulled out another Pokeball. He threw it up into the air in a flash of light. Moltres floated there, flapping its flaming wings. I grinned as I returned my Ivysaur to its Pokeball. I pulled out another one and aimed it. Hey, what do you want us to do? Zachary asked. I did not ask you to do anything, I noted. Whatever, dude. Hey, that stone you said, it's in the mountain, right? We'll go look for it, Zachary told me. But before I could argue, Zachary and Haley had ran off and their Pokemon running after them. I turned back to the grunt and his Moltres. I threw my Pokeball up into the air and Zapdos exploded at the Pokeball. You stole that Pokemon from us, the grunt barked. It's called befriending a Pokemon, you jackass, I smirked. I jumped on the Zapdos' back, and the grunt jumped on top of Moltres. Both bird Pokemon took flight, and before we knew it, we started soaring through the sky. The Moltres opened its mouth, and a blast of fire erupted from its mouth and skimmed past me. Stay still, the grunt screamed. We flew higher into the clouds. The clouds had gotten thick and grey as we flew up. Perfect for my plan. The Moltres followed us. I then let go and fell down, letting go of my Zapdos as it carried on flying up. I fell down and fell past the Moltres, and the grunt just kept on looking at me confused. Zapdos, Thunderbolt! I called out. Zapdos unleashed a massive thunderbolt that struck the Moltres and the grunt. The grunt and the bird Pokemon both fell down towards the ocean below. My Zapdos then swooped down as fast as it could and caught me. We swooped down to the mountainside, where I saw Zachary and Haley running down the rocky slope, the blue shining gem in Zachary's hand. I returned Zapdos to my Pokeball and ran up to them. You found it, and so quickly, I said with a slight gasp. Yeah, we did. It kind of appeared. Zachary handed the stone to me. After all the time I finally had the stone that would lead me to Dialga, I would capture it and use the power to bring my wife back to life. I smiled slightly and placed the gem back into my pocket. Now where? Hallie asked me. You want to tag along? I asked them. If that's okay, Zachary asked with a grin. Sure thing. Some company would be nice. Just don't get in my way. I grinned. We all started walking down the mountain. Zachary then punched me in the arm and chuckled, gasping at the fact that I had a Zapdos on my Pokemon team. I grinned at his over-the-top reaction. They trusted easily. Maybe that was a good thing, maybe it wasn't. As we headed into town, everything went blank. I woke up and climbed off the Matrix bed. I felt kinda normal after exploring that universe.
Sir, your 8 hours here was 2 hours and 2 minutes there.
Daisy told me. Pokemon, huh? Seemed like they're full of nice universes. Pokemon seem nice, I told her.
They definitely do seem quite unique, sir, and there's a lot of universes with you in them.
Daisy explained. I got myself something to eat, and I sat there with a peaceful mindset. The universe I just visited definitely had its negatives, but was toppled by the creation of Pokemon. They sure did seem to make this job just slightly easier. It was an interesting thought to dawn on. And there we have it, guys. Our Pokemon-inspired story, and one of the many aces that we'll see in the Pokemon universe. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Now, if you want to see more Colour Matrix worlds, and want to explore the other stories that Ace has ventured into, check out the rest of the playlist on this channel. But you can also check out Tiger Tail's Game Over, a place where you'll find video game inspired storylines, and there's a Colour Matrix on that channel too. It's exactly the same storyline, but I thought I'd separate the gaming universes, as I quote them in story called Data Worlds, and the more non-game related stuff on here. So make sure you check out Tiger Tail's Game Over as well. A huge shout out to A Crown on TikTok, a cosplayer and a dear friend of mine, and his YouTube channel, The Author's Crown, which is another channel you'll find stories and fanfictions. A big shout out to him because he actually helps me quite a lot with these Colour Matrix chapters, so make sure you check him out. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Tiger Tail's Game Over, and Tiger Tail's Mysterious Origins. More places you'll find stories and fanfiction. The last one I just mentioned also has all original content. Tiger Tail's X is my last Tiger Tail's channel, and there you'll find official crossovers. Full-blown crossovers of 2 fictions or more. So there's no, OCs or anything like this story. For an example, Ben 10 Alien Force and Doctor Who. That being said, make sure you check out the Zero to Hero podcast, the If You Give a Dad a podcast, and the Tiger Nexus podcast. Thank you all for watching, and I shall see you guys real soon.
That before we can...
Don't touch my Pringles.